Alright, so just because I was late to the party doesn't mean I didn't have fun. Hustlers is the new crime drama from Lorene Scafaria, starring Constance Wu, Lili Reinhart, Keke Palmer, Julia Stiles, and of course, J-Lo. The film follows a group of strippers who basically figure out a way to exploit their customers to make a shit ton of money. Now, I quite often don't review movies that Australia gets as late as this one. It's been out for about a month in the States and in other places around the world, but I love this movie, and I knew I was gonna love it from the second I first saw the trailer. Obviously, I usually don't watch trailers, but this one popped up, I gave it a peek, and I went, no, there's something about this, and everyone else was going, no, it's a Jennifer Lopez movie, she doesn't do good movies, and, she does now, because she's phenomenal in this movie. Actually, the whole cast is phenomenal. This is just one of those movies that's all about oozing this stylishness and having this flow and this kind of surprising creativity. I was really caught off guard by just how exciting the direction of this movie was. So many incredibly creative choices that I did not expect to see coming out of a studio movie like this, particularly playing with audio, particular kind of audio edits in this film that I thought, hey, that's kind of really interesting that they would do something like that in a movie like this. Of course, the movie also has these consistently fantastic needle drops using tracks that were, mega hits from 2007 all the way up to about 2013. There's a lot in there that are absolute bangers that really give this movie a wonderful momentum and flow. From the second this film started and opened with a pretty impressive long take sequence, I knew I was in for an experience that was slick and sexy and dynamic and mainly authentic. This movie actually has a really wonderful authenticity to it and its characters. I do think that things could have gone a little bit deeper at times because this movie is definitely a fan of going through montage to deliver information, things like backstory as well that definitely feel like they get kind of mixed into the flow. And I think the movie communicates all the information we need about these characters and what they're going through effectively enough. But there were definitely moments that I feel did get almost lost in the mix a bit, and I would have loved to have seen those expanded on, particularly because it is a true story or based on true events. There is a distinction. It is based on an article that I'm actually quite interested to read now because this is a fascinating story. I think we've seen movies like this with male characters a lot. There is very much an Ocean's 11 vibe to it, but on a much smaller scale. And it is great seeing a story like this with an all-female cast that really has this kind of sisterhood element. Just seeing women talk about women things, doing things that women do from the perspective of a female filmmaker. I think that really cannot be undervalued here. This story about strippers could have gone into very kind of excessive and just that territory where it's a little bit icky. And the movie was always just so sensitive and so appreciative of what these women were doing until they start to kind of switch into the real kind of criminal zone, and then the movie begins to play with the way that we empathize with them. And I really enjoyed that experience of constantly feeling that conflict within me grow, that kind of, yeah, girl, go get him, but maybe don't go get him that way. It's a really wonderful feeling I went through watching this movie. And doubling back to the performances, because I kind of skimmed over that, the women at the center of this film are all fantastic, and I do want to shout out Cardi B, who actually really worked in the context of this film. Obviously, it's kind of her background, it's a story that she's familiar with, but she was absolutely magnetic every time she was on screen, just as was the rest of the cast. Obviously, Jennifer Lopez is getting a lot of buzz from this movie, and I do think it's one of my favorite performances of the year. She's so commanding, her presence is so powerful, she was absolutely born to play this role, and she's fantastic, but I do not want to see Constance Wu get overshadowed here because she is absolutely the center of this movie, and the way that she kind of plays this character who's just trying to navigate her life, who doesn't really know what she wants, just trying to kind of go through things moment by moment and just flowing with what's happening, just in the attempt of trying to connect with the people around her. I found her to be an incredibly compelling central character, and I thought her performance was really beautiful. I think this movie in general is just a lot more beautiful than it's kind of, what it's about would entail. I think that this movie really does have something special underneath it, and I think the movie finds a really, really profound ending point. And even if it went a couple too many cycles after that perfect point for me, it still stands. And I still thought this was an incredibly poignant movie, a story that I believe needed to be told, a story that I'm glad was told, and a story that I think I'm probably going to go out and see it again. So those were my super quick thoughts on Hustlers. Have you seen it yet? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you like this video? Well, of course you did. You can subscribe to Breaking Banter down there somewhere, as well as my other channel, Loverboy, over there somewhere. You can follow me on Twitter at LoverboyMedia. And if you really, really want to help support this channel, you can support on Patreon. Thank you to everyone doing that already. You guys are holding this whole thing together, so thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who watches these videos, and I will see you all in the next one.